Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different from what I've done here before, but it's something that I normally do every year, and so I thought that I would just bring you along with me and show you how I do it. And the one reason is because when I first got the idea to do this, it kind of scared me a little bit because I thought, what if I do it wrong? What if I mess it up? But what I figured out is that it's really easy. It's not really anything to be scared of, and so anybody can do it. So anyway, you can watch me do it today, and then maybe it'll be something you want to try. So today I'm going to be making elderberry syrup, which if you're not familiar with that, it is something that you just drink a little bit of every day, and it really boosts your immune system. So if you don't know anything about elderberries, look them up because they are really pretty amazing as far as how good they are for you, for your health. The other thing is I'm going to be adding some other stuff to it also, and all of those things are very immune boosting too. So there you go. The other thing, you can use the elderberry syrup like as a syrup too. So, you can either drink a little bit every day, you can use it as a syrup. If you want to use it as a syrup, you might want to leave some of the other herbs out. You might want to do just elderberries. You might want to add a little cinnamon to it or something like that. And also, you don't have to add all of the things that I'm going to add in. I'm just going to show you what I do. But you can make the exact same recipe just using the elderberries if you want to do that. And plenty of people do that, and it's still good for you. It's still got a lot of health benefits. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you what I use and how I do it. Also, I'm going to leave some links for you below of all of these different herbs and where I get them from. Just because sometimes, one of the things that bothered me was knowing where to get herbs that were good. I kind of wondered if I'm going to be getting something that's not very good quality or something like that. And so once I found good quality things to use, that helped a lot and made me, feel a lot more confident in making my own elderberry syrup. And really, you can save a lot of money making it yourself because it's pretty expensive if you go to buy it. Now, of course, if you don't want to make it, you can buy it, but this recipe will help you to save some money and still give your family the immune boosting qualities of the elderberry syrup. So let me get started. And I'm starting with 4 cups of filtered water, and I use my Berkey water filter to get my water for my elderberry syrup. If you don't have a water filter, I would recommend that you just get some type of pure water, especially, if your water might have, which most of it does, have chlorine and things like that in it. So those additives that are in your water are kind of opposite of immune boosting. So if you're making something immune boosting, go ahead and get you some really good water to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my pot. And I like to use a stainless steel pot when I do this. So anyway, I don't know if it makes any difference, but stainless steel is my go-to choice for making this elderberry syrup. Now, I have dried elderberries here, and I'm going to use a cup and almost a half. It wasn't quite a half in that package, so I'm just going with what I have here. But you can use anywhere between a cup and a half of elderberries. So I'm putting those in there, and then I am going to add some other things. I'm going to add some whole cloves, and I'm going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of those, which is not a huge amount, but some clove. I'm going to add echinacea. And if you're not really familiar with any of these things and what health benefits they have, just go ahead and look them up and see what you can find out for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to put my echinacea in there. Ginger. And all of the ones I have are cut and sifted, and so you can buy them different ways. These are cut and sifted. A teaspoon of ginger. A teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm just using regular cinnamon. That was a little over a teaspoon, but that's okay. And then I'm going to use a tablespoon of rose hips. And if you know anything about rose hips, they are for vitamin C. And we all know how good vitamin C is for you. So, all of these things in here. And I did not bring a stirring spoon over here, so I'm going to stir it up with my little mixing spoon. And then I'm going to head over to the stove and show you what I'm going to do over there. Here it is on the stove. I've just put it over here, so I've not started cooking it yet. Okay, I'm going to turn my stove on, and I'm going to turn it on a little bit high, just about medium. I know that high heat can do damage to your herbs, so I'm not going to bring mine to a boil. I'm going to let it get warm, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. So I will show you what that looks like. Okay, so this has gotten warm now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down to a very low setting, just to a very low simmer, and I will let it simmer here on the stove until it reduces by about half. So it will get a lot thicker than it is right now, and when it's like that, I'll take it off and I'll show you what it looks like at that point. Low and slow is the best way to do this, so that you retain all of the good qualities of the herbs and the elderberries and everything that you have in there. I'll let it simmer, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's almost ready. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. You can tell that the elderberries have sunk to the bottom. They've really, cooked down. And so our liquid is a good bit thicker. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and drain these berries off through a strainer. I'll show you how to do that. Now, I found the easiest way to do this is to use something with a wide open mouth like this and my large strainer, because there's a lot of stuff in here and this needs to be big enough to catch it. If I tried to use a small one like this, I would have to continually be dumping all of the stuff out of it. So I'm going to use the big one and go ahead and get this strainer. And then smash your berries to try to get as much, so there's still juice coming out of them. Try to get as much of that juice out of there as you can. Now, I'm going to add honey to mine, and the honey serves as a sweetener, but it also, has very good properties in it too. But if you're making this for your family and you have children that are less than 2 years old, you don't need to put the honey in it. You need to use something else to sweeten it with, or either just leave it without any sweetener And no, you won't get the benefits of the honey, but you don't want to give your little children that are under 2, you don't want to feed them honey. So I'm going to go ahead. Mine is still a little warm. You could let it cool off more. It's probably better to let it cool off more, but my honey is pretty thick and a little bit crystallized in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add it while it's kind of warm so that I can get it to mix up a little bit better. See, you can tell how thick my honey is. So I'm using a little bit over a half of a cup. You can use anywhere between a half of a cup and a cup, just according to how you like for it to be. And that's something you'll just have to experiment with a little bit. And then you just stir this honey up, mix it in there. Okay. Then I pour mine into a quart jar, and that's how I store it. You need to store this in the refrigerator. You can see some of my honey didn't mix. I'll stir it a little bit more when I get it in here. This will be some nice, healthy elderberry syrup. All right, so that's all there is to it. It's really not that complicated. You just need to have a few hours when you get ready to do this, because like I said, you want to let this elderberry syrup simmer low and for a long time. You don't want to do it fast and short. And so I store this in the refrigerator. There's different opinions on how long you can store it. I've stored it for a couple of months, but honestly, this won't last our family very long at all. So I usually make a bigger batch when I do it. So you can take this same recipe and you can double it or even triple it if you want to, or if you want to make less, you can cut it in half. So any of those options. But we take a tablespoon a day, and if I start feeling bad, if somebody starts feeling bad, then we will up the dosage and we'll take, you know, a tablespoon 3 times a day or 4 times a day, kind of according to how we're feeling. So, but for like a maintenance thing, a tablespoon a day is what we do on a regular basis. And we'll start doing that and kind of do it all the way through the whole winter season. So I just store it in a mason jar with one of these plastic lids on top of it in the refrigerator. So I think that I covered everything. I hope that you'll give this elderberry syrup a try, both making it and using it, and see if you find that it gives your immune system a bit of a boost. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll be back next week with another video, so I hope that you will be back here too. Thanks for being here today, and I will see you next week.